Alright guys, so if you saw the 6,000 mile review video that I did, you know that I haven't really had much trouble with my JL Wrangler. I had that steering issue that is so common on these things, but it was fixed with a simple software update. And other than that, it's been really flawless. And what I wanted to talk about today was something that it's kind of been on the back burner. I've known about it, for the last 7 months because they started talking about this back in the spring. But I never really paid a lot of attention to it, and that is the welding issue. And it's kind of come back to the forefront this week because FCA issued a recall finally on a lot of the JL Wranglers due to the welding issues that were going on with the frames, particularly the welding around the brackets on the frame. So I thought it would be kind of neat today to take a look at this one because it was built on the first day of February, so it's kind of an early build. I thought it'd be kind of neat to get under here and take a look and see what the welds look like on this one. Okay, so let's start with the rear and we'll jump under here and see what's going on. Now, again, this thing, I get in it every day, drive it to work, do what I need to do with it. I don't have any trouble with it, so to speak, but I haven't really checked into this welding issue on this one extensively yet, so it's going to be interesting to crawl under here and see exactly what's going on. See what we can see here. So let's start with the sway bar bracket, and I'm also going to go ahead and tell you I'm not a certified welder. I'm not even an amateur welder. I don't have any experience welding, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw that out there. But that particular weld right there on the sway bar bracket looks pretty decent to me. You can see a little porosity in that frame weld right there, but not a big deal. If I could get the camera, it's hard to get the camera in a good position, but the weld going vertically up through there, it doesn't look too bad either. So not too bad there. What about back here? There's a little spot weld right there. Let's check out this track bar. Ooh, there's some porosity on that one, but I'm not sure exactly what the spec is. There's a spec that they have regarding that porosity in the weld. You can have certain distance and so forth between them. Not sure exactly what the spec is, but there's definitely some porosity in that particular seam right there. The one up above it doesn't look too bad. It looks decent. You can see right there, that one seems to be missed. I don't know. I can't really get around there, guys, sorry, but to see the other side, might have to try and peek above the tire and see it. But there's obviously no weld at all on that side of the bracket. I would think that there would that there would be some, but anyway, let's go over here to the other side. Alright, let's go over here to the passenger side rear. There's the weld on the track bar, and it doesn't look too bad. Not too terribly bad there. There's the sway bar bracket. That seam right there doesn't look too bad. It's hard to get up in there and see the vertical one. Not too bad there either. So all in all, you can see some splatter in the weld. See how it's kind of, get the camera to focus, it's kind of splattered back here on the frame. So, obviously not a perfect welding job. There's some porosity in here. But it doesn't look as bad as some of the other ones that I've seen on the forum. Now the recall, you can look that up, get the information on it. The recall doesn't cover all that many of these Wranglers. So I don't know exactly what the rhyme or reason is there, but they picked a certain number of them to recall. And it seems like some of the ones that have pretty bad issues are not covered, and some of the ones that are covered don't have the issue. So I don't know how they do that exactly, but Let's take a look up here in the front. All right, here's the track bar on the driver's side in the front. And what's interesting here is that you can see how this portion over here doesn't even have a weld, and this part does. So, you know, it's obviously one big bracket there. And this side over here doesn't have any weld at all. It's like that seam was completely missed. You can see some porosity in there. That's interesting. So, looks like, and obviously this is a track bar bracket, so you've got a lot of horizontal force this way, so you would think that you would want the seam to be welded all the way across there, it would seem, but it doesn't look like it is. Let's go check the other side. Alright, so I'm over here on the passenger side now, looking around at some of the welds, and they don't look too bad over here, so that's a good sign. All in all, I'm not finding anything really alarming under here on this part of the Jeep. I'm gonna try and go up, look up above the tire now, see if I can see some of the other suspension components. All right, there's the back on the driver's side now, front track bar. There's the weld. You can see right down here, that's the one that was missing, the weld on the seam, but they've got it pretty good looking weld there across the face of it on this side. Little porosity and splatter in there, but not too terribly bad. I think this front track bar bracket is the one that a lot of the guys have had the most trouble with. In fact, I've even seen one guy that had his shear completely off the Jeep. So that's the one that's been giving them the most trouble. I'm kind of just looking over this thing in general, and I don't see, I mean, there's a couple of spots that are somewhat questionable, but I don't see a whole lot of problem with it. Again, I'm not a certified welder, but I think this one's in better shape than some of the ones I've seen. Certainly not perfect, but something that I'm going to keep an eye on. You know, if you got a JL Wrangler, I guess that's the moral to this story, is if you got a JL Wrangler, might be a good idea to at least check it out. Get up under there, guys, and check it out. You know, doesn't hurt just to crawl under there and check your brackets. Look around all the different brackets under there. Make sure the welds look decent. You may be like me and not very experienced in welding, so you don't know exactly what to look for, but if you're somewhat mechanically inclined, you can tell when something's not right. So just crawl under there and see what you're looking at, and if you see something that's obviously not right, go to your dealership, have them look at it, and talk to them about it. I think that the ones that are recalled, the notice said that the seams were completely missed. You know, like the robot would go in there and try to weld, and it would be above the seam or below the seam instead of welding on the seam. That was the big issue, or maybe they forgot to weld those seams at all. So should be pretty obvious once you crawl under there if there's something wrong. Should be able to see it. So like I said, just crawl under there and check yours out. This one doesn't seem to be too bad. There's a couple of places where it's a little questionable, but overall not too terribly bad. I'm not going to worry about this one. Next time I'm at the dealership to get an oil change, I may, have them peek around under there and see what they think about it. Doesn't hurt to ask, but I'm not going to worry about it too much unless further information comes out that expands the recall. But I guess I'm just going to drive this one and enjoy it. And hopefully you guys don't have any that look worse than this. But if you do, let me know. Post up tonight if you watch this video, or whenever you see it. Post up a comment down below and let me know what yours looks like, so we can kind of get the word around. Maybe we can see just how common this really is. All right, guys, have a good night. Thanks for watching.